Super Bowl champion cornerback Chris Harris Jr., long time no see.
What's up, girl? How you doing?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to see you. Can I tell you what we did, me and my team, on Zoom for like an hour today? And this is like, it's 8 a.m. in LA. Do you know what we did from 6 to 7 a.m.?
Let me guess. Watch some highlights.
We watched, no, not yours. We watched the CHJ Elite 10U and 12U teams crushing. Okay, so you win. Congratulations. The national championships both last month. But these highlights that we're looking at, this is insane. The one-handed interception, Chris, this is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I got some young talent in Tulsa, Oklahoma in that area. And I just want to get these guys some notoriety. You know, I came in the league as an undrafted guy, an underdog, and didn't have a lot of offers coming out of high school. So I want to give these guys a chance to get coached also by me and understand, you know, the new wave of football, but also get that notoriety, get that pub that they need out of Oklahoma to show that, hey, we have talent in Oklahoma just like other states do.
I mean, that DB snatching it away with one hand. We're looking at them. It is in the gritties, the fun that they're having. Have you learned anything about yourself in taking this on and coaching?
Yeah. Oh, a lot, you know, just dealing with from 10-year-olds all the way up to 16-year-olds, you know, every age is, you know, going through their different maturity stages, and just looking out, having to train these young kids and be able to coach them, be able to relate to them. That's been the fun part. And you know, not being able to coach real live games, tackle football games yet. This is something that gives me, you know, it gives me some fun, you know, gives me back in the game. Also, you know, being able to train kids. I love training them, coaching fundamentals, coaching techniques. So this is kind of the field I love to be in, you know, since I've been retired.
I mean, they're champions. Has an NFL team ever came a calling yet to see if you want to help coach?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I made the call, definitely if I reached out to some teams, but you know, I got 5 girls, okay? You know, 5 girls, you know, right now at this stage, it'd be hard for me to coach and be committed anywhere right now. But I love training. I love helping out these young guys. You know, hopefully I'll be able to help a lot of these young guys that just got drafted, you know, help train those guys and, you know, continue to, you know, teach these young boys the game.
Who's the coach or the person who in the NFL who could call you and you'd be most convinced to like? Is it Fangio? I know you spent a year with him. Is it, you know, like who would that be?
Oh, Wade Phillips, I'd be right there. Right. Wade Phillips, if he was coaching in the NFL. Joe Woods, you know, I think Joe Woods was last with the Saints. I'd go coach with Joe Woods. That would be fun. He was our DB coach when we won the Super Bowl. Also, I would love my first coach that I had in the NFL. His name is Ron Miles. He's with the Jaguars. I would love to go over there and coach with him. And also coach with Travis Hunter. That would be fun.
Oh, that would be really fun. I'd like to see that. Joe Woods with the Raiders, I think now.
Oh, he left the Saints? Nah, he's with the Raiders.
So, yeah.
So, man, see, these coaches are hard to keep up with, you know, especially with this coaching cycle.
I feel like it's not. Are you still in Denver? Do you still live where do you live? Yeah.
I'm in Dallas.
Okay, Dallas. That's pretty far to go then to Vegas. Then I just need you back in the NFL, and clearly, like, you love the game, you know the game. Like, I'd like to see it happen at some point. But I mean, the 5 daughters kind of tips the scale. Heard. Let's talk a little bit about these Broncos. We're almost 2 weeks removed from this draft. They take their corner and Barron in the first round. I know that you loved this pick. People think he's just a nickel, Chris. What do you think?
Yeah. I seen him play all over the field at Texas. Of course, he thrived in the nickel, and he's a guy that's a positionless player, and that's what you need in the NFL. You need DBs that can play all over the field, that can match up with any type of receiver, and it's going to be interesting, right? Denver had Jaquan McMillan in the slot the past 2 years, and he's played solid, but I don't think they like the way he finished the year last year. I don't think they like the way the whole defense finished the year. So adding a pick like this, a guy that's very versatile, along with Greenlaw, and then the safety they brought in for the 49ers, this defense looks to be very tough next year.
Do you think there's a chance he starts on the outside to begin the year?
Oh, that's going to be interesting, right? It's going to be a competition versus him and Riley Moss on the base personnel versus 12 personnel. And then when they go to slot, you know, they might move Barron inside, and he's going to have to compete with Jaquan McMillan. who has experience and who has made plays in the NFL. So this is kind of how it was for me when I was a second year in the NFL. We brought in Drayton Florence, Tracy Porter. I had to beat those guys out to be able to play and be able to be an undrafted guy and take that next step. So I'm interested to see what Jaquan McMillan is going to do with the Broncos drafting Barrett. Are you going to bow down or are you going to continue to rise to the occasion? And that's what I had to do because, you know, Elway made it tough on me. I had a lot of competition every year. So I'm excited to see about what's Riley Moss is going to do. What's Chris Abrams-Drain's going to do. All these young guys that we have in the locker room. I can't wait to see the competition.
So when that would happen, like I'm thinking, like Riley Moss is playing for his job. Like he hears the news, the draft happens, and you're like, okay, bet now I have to go do this. What was your mindset when you would hear that kind of news?
It just added motivation. You know, with me being undrafted, I had tons of motivation. Signing $2,000 signing bonus, that was enough motivation for me, period. Oof. But when you have, when you feel like your head coach and the ownership and the GM and them don't believe in you fully, then you got to go out there and prove it to them. So that just gave me all the motivation in the world to show that, hey, I'm not just an undrafted guy, or I'm not just an all rookie team guy that made it my first year. I want to play in this league for a long time. And you got to continue to beat out competition.
You know, the evolution of corner is so interesting that even just like Elway bringing in the guys, all that. But if you just look at the cornerback spot, like, do you feel like you deserve some credit for sort of paving the way for corners who were once considered like not your prototypical huge corner?
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know, of course, we had guys like Rondé, who was great in the nickel. But me and Rondé were pretty different, right? They're more of a zone type, cover two type scheme. And in my way in the nickel, I've always been a man type nickel, being able to play all over the field, blitz, things like that. Not saying Rondé couldn't do that. We're just two different types of nickels. You know, I think I paved the way for this modern time of what you see guys playing all over the field. They're even calling it the star now. We also see guys getting drafted at the nickel at a time where nobody was, unless you were a prototype 6'1", 6 foot corner, you weren't getting drafted. But now we see Cooper DeJean get drafted. Yeah, you know, Barron getting drafted. We got all these nickels getting drafted, you know, very high now. So I think I definitely helped pave the way for that position for guys to get noticed. And then it's a starting position now, right? It's a starter.
Yeah. It's wild to think, it's hard to think that you were undrafted. Like, it's actually like sick. Like, it's kind of disgusting to think. Truly, it is, because now it's a position that literally everyone wants, and they want it badly, and they want it early.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens. You know, it's just like Kobe Bryant. He's a guy that had unlimited production at Kansas, and he went undrafted. It just happens in this system, and it can go like that. But I did like one steal. I did like the Saints taking my running back from Kansas, Devin Neal. I think he's going to be a huge piece with Alvin Kamara. I'm excited about that pick. But this draft is going to be fun. I love the competition. I love what's going to happen with the Browns. I want to see what Shedeur is going to do. Is he going to come out of that? You know, it's a lot of competition there. I'm excited about next season.
Do you think Shedeur gets out as a starter?
I don't think he starts out the gate. I think probably around week 5, week 4. You know, Browns always have issues with quarterbacks, whether injuries or they're just not playing well. So I think during the season he'll get a shot to play. It might not be immediately, but that might be good for him so he can learn the speed of the game, understand this new offense, this new terminology, and get his feet wet a little bit. By week 5, he should be ready to go.
I wanted to ask you, by the way, Shedeur plus 370 to start week 1. Flacco's the favorite if you guys are hanging out over on FanDuel Sportsbook right now. I still wanted to ask you about the Broncos because, like, obviously they bring in the corners. We're talking corners. They have the best in the game right now. Reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Pat Surtain. I'm sure you were so excited to see that. This was this is a top 3 defense. Now they're better, right? Is this the year? Like, what are we willing to say? Is this the year that they're the number 1 defense in the league? By the way, and if they were, it'd be the first time they were since your no-fly zone days.
Yeah. They have the talent top to bottom, from the D-line to now adding Greenlaw, being able to have him in the middle. That's huge. He has experience. He can cover. He's also very physical, and that's what they needed. Broncos were kind of leaky against the run. We started to be a little leaky in the pass coverage at the end of the season. and then finish strong. So we added a nice young rookie. We added nice pieces to the secondary. Denver definitely has a chance to be the number one in the league. Led by Patrick Surtain. I mean, the guy's phenomenal. Technician, fundamentalist, and he has great size and speed to be able to match up with any receiver. So this defense really has no weaknesses going into the season. As long as everybody stays healthy, I see them being at the top going into the season next year.
I was going to say, you can't say that they have the talent. Like, I want to hear you say like they're going to do it.
Yeah, I think they are. You know, yeah. It's all about getting these new guys coming in, fitting well, which I think they will with Coach Vance Joseph. He's a very aggressive coach. He loves the blitz. I think they led the league in blitzing last year. So we got to have corners that are going to be able to hold up on the island. And they did that last year for the majority of the part, except to the end. So I think they learned a lot from last year, getting that playoff experience, going to Buffalo, you know, getting whooped like that. That'll give you some motivation to come back even better next year. Zach Allen, I don't know what this guy has to do to get any pub, right? He dominated all season long, didn't get first team All-Pro. So he's going to be motivated to come back to show guys that he is a top D line in this league. So I think the defense will be in the top 3, but I'm hoping we should finish number 1.
If they stay healthy, I love that. And I like that you're giving Zach his love there. Let's give Bo his love. And you've mentioned Greenlaw. You must really like Greenlaw because you mentioned him like 3 times now.
I mean,
you're saying he's so important.
We needed that. Yeah. We've needed a linebacker. We haven't had a linebacker since Brandon Marshall, Danny Trevathan. That was those, you know, front run linebackers that are fast, that can run. And it's been 10 plus years since we've had that. So it's a much needed position.
I was going to say, I cannot remember the last time I talked about Danny Trevathan. I love that you just pulled that back. So Greenlaw and Hufanga come from a Super Bowl pedigree team, a team that has been there. They've lost, but they've been there, right? I loved what they said recently about, here's what Hufanga said. This is all talking about Bo Nix. Man, when you got a quarterback that can go out there and really play as a defense, you know, it's just not 3 and out. There's a lot of NFL teams like that in the NFL. So for us, it's like, we got potential here. Why can't we come over here and help change? He's the reason. Like and it's almost, when I read that, I was like, they're basically saying that they believe in Bo, but also that he's a bit of a recruiting tool. Like, he's why, like, we want to go over there. Yet somehow he doesn't get the pub. We're not rolling into this next season saying like he's going to light the world on fire. Why is that?
It's just the way it is in Denver right now. Until you can show that he's the man consistently on a consistent basis in the AFC West, then nobody's going to give him anything. And I thought he played outstanding for a rookie. To lead this team to the playoffs his first year as a starting, it was like a dark cloud over us, right? It was like we're cursed in that 10-year block of not making it to the playoffs. So for this guy to come in, step in, make huge plays, he can run. He can throw the deep ball. He can throw on the run. He fits this new modern style play. And guys that love him, right? He's a locker room guy. He hangs with the guys. You know, he's a guy that, you know, players want to be around. And we haven't had a guy that was a big recruiter since Peyton Manning, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted to come to Denver when we had Peyton, right? So now to be able to have a guy like Bo, who's a cornerstone guy for us, we believe in him. In the franchise, the players believe in them. Everybody in the building believes in them. So now everybody outside sees that. They feel that energy. Now they want to be a part of
it. Where do you think, how do I say this? Actually, no, I'm going to ask you this instead. Do you think he's clutch?
It's too early. It's too early to say he's clutch and to say he's not. We didn't have that many clutch games. One nail biter games where he had to make comebacks. But I think he's not afraid of it. I don't think he's afraid at all to make those plays. You know, some quarterbacks, you know, they might be afraid of the moment. I think Bo wants the moment. He wants to throw the ball in that situation. And actually the Cleveland Brown game, game when Marvin Mims mossed the guy, you know, that was clutch.
They had to win some big games to get to the playoffs. That was clutch.
Yeah, that was a clutch game.
I'm asking you that because, I mean, even that Cincy game, honestly, they lost, you know, the defense couldn't stop Joe Burrow, but he was great in that one. Anyway, I asked you that because like you like literally went viral last time you were on the show saying, you know, that you would like to see Justin Herbert be clutch. And I can't deny that I thought of you in that playoff game And I was wondering if you were like, what were your feelings on that, watching that happen?
I mean, I love Herbert, and what he did last year with really no number one receiver was good, and
Mm.
their approach was smart. Take take his role off the offense and put it to the back burner really for the running game. Let's get this guy Dobbins the ball, right? And he had an outstanding year. Lad McCarthy, is that how you say his last? I don't want to mess his name up. Yeah, McConkey. Right. This guy pretty much was the number one receiver last year for them as a rookie. And so he definitely needs more weapons this year if they want to open up the offense again. But I like the style that Jim Harbaugh is doing, or John Harbaugh is doing, right? Being able to run the football, play action. Now you got a rookie running back, Omarion Hampton, who's great with the football in his hands, and especially catching the football. So it's going to be a great weapon for Herbert. And starting out, playing with him early in career was all on him, right? And now we have a more balanced offense where we can have a run threat and have this pass threat to where it's not just one-dimensional on Herbert. So I think that's going to help him improve. And I thought the offense did well for him last year.
And they got Mike Williams back too. They added a receiver in the second round. They added Trey Harris. So like you're saying, they're helping him out. And that adding Omarion, they need a little one. I mean, when I think Greg Roman, I do think run the ball. I do think let's help him out with the run game. The Jags are certainly doing it with Trevor Lawrence. Like, it's not a crazy thing to do that. Were you so surprised to hear that sort of people coming for your neck, questioning his clutchness?
Yeah, because really in LA, Herbert probably can't do anything wrong, so I understand. And ex-Charger fans, even though I play with the Chargers, it's still rivals, with the Broncos. And so I understand, but I just try to give an honest opinion on how I feel about him. And he was always a great player, great teammate. He's going to do whatever he can for the Chargers to win. And that's why, everybody loves Justin. And hopefully he can take that next step and getting over the hump. He has to get over Mahomes. He has to be able to beat these top guys to be mentioned as one of the GOATs, one of the greats, right? You got to go to the AFC Championship. You got to go to the Super Bowl, make a Super Bowl appearance, right? If you want to be mentioned with those guys. So that's really the next step for him.
My favorite thing is I asked you about the Broncos and you kept saying we. And then I asked you about the Chargers and you kept saying we. How does that work? Why is that allowed for you?
I can say we because I actually play with Justin, so I say we sometimes, it might slip up, but definitely the Broncos, I'm still rocking with them all the way, still. I'm gonna ask
you a really tough question. When all is said and done, and you're coaching the NFL, once your girls are doing whatever they want successfully 20 years from now, how will we look back at Bo versus Justin? Who will end up having the better career, if you had to guess?
Ooh, that's going to be tough right there. Man, you put me in a pickle right here.
It's hard.
Because Justin started out very hot, right? When you got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen right there, Bo didn't have the luxury of having those two out the gate. So I would say at the beginning, I will give it to Justin, but hopefully as we end, Bo can take it over. And I think with the assistance of the defense, the better offensive-minded coach with Sean Payton, I think he can take that leap over him.
Well said. Very tough question. I did put you in a pickle there.
You put me in a hard spot.
I know. I appreciate. You're the best. But you honestly, you're just honest. It's why I can ask you questions like that. You're honest and you see the game a different way than I think everybody else does. Now, speaking of just your position, you're like anything going on at your position. Jaylen Ramsey. There's a rumor that he might even go back and get traded back to the Rams. Where do you think Jaylen Ramsey should go?
Hopefully he can go to a contender. The Rams, they like him. That's a good fit for him. But I want Ramsey to play on a team, on a meaningful team, I don't know what the Eagles look like over there. That would be a great spot for him with Slay moving. But teams need veteran corners. To be able to have a guy like Ramsey who knows the game, he can play all over the field. He's an instant impact for anybody's defense. So if you're a contender, I would definitely be looking out there, for him, like the Ravens. Imagine having him and Humphrey, right? Now I guarantee they get over the hump, So there's a lot of teams for Ramsey. I think that would be great fits. Let's go with the Rams, the Ravens. I like him and I actually like him with the Chargers, right? Him and Derwin
Ooh.
James would be scary, right? I like that. So there's a couple spots, that I think he could go and fit well. And everybody needs a veteran DB like him that knows that's been around, that knows every system, that knows how to play every position. Ramsey's always going to have value in this league.
Derwin James, speaking of him, he was on, I think it was the pivot. He was on the pivot and he was asked, I don't know if you saw this, he was asked like which receiver just gives him hell. Like which receiver's nice. And he said Hunter Renfro. And the whole room's like laughing, like the record stopped, it scratched, like Hunter Renfro. And then he went into like what kind of a player he is. Who was your Hunter Renfro? Who was the one that maybe people didn't expect? I know you had epic battles with Edelman. Is that it? Or was there like a more low key one?
Oh man. I mean, I had all my battles were big battles. We didn't really have no, baby battles, AB, always battling him. Yeah. Keenan Allen, every year battling him. Tyreek Hill, Antonio Gates, all these guys, Gronk. It was always tough going against these guys, and it was never a week off during that period, But I would say me and Keenan Allen had some epic battles. Always, in some dog fights with him and Phillip Rivers, Crabtree and Amari Cooper, right?
Oh,
can't forget those guys. That's like a sneaky rivalry right there. If you go back and watch our Denver versus Raider games, those are dog fights, right? Yeah. Going against Crabtree and Cooper. So those would probably be my kind of sneaky rivalries right there.
That was like a Keeban Crabtree, right? That was the whole like the chain thing. That was like, wasn't that?
I mean, it was both. Yeah. I mean, we both had to guard both of those guys. So it was, it was a rivalry all the way. And then facing those guys in college, facing Crab in college and then playing in the NFL, those rivalries, they stay long, we still have a rivalries, playing Jeremy Maclin at Missouri. I wanted to kill him when he was with the Chiefs and with Baltimore because of those rivalries.
Him and Chase Daniel back in those days. Maclin was no joke at Mizzou. That's true. That's so true. That's so funny. Those Big 12 days are so funny to look back on. Keenan Allen, I believe still, Hamilton, tell me if I'm wrong, still available, right? I think he's still available for a team to pick up. I would like you to maybe give him some love here. Tell people what a disaster, what a nightmare he was to go up against.
Just his releases off the line were just amazing, and I definitely know he learned from Gates. Gates definitely was one of the toughest guys to get off to press on the line. And Keenan had that same feel. And he was a guy that he didn't run every route full speed. He would change the pace routes. He made it very difficult to get a read on him. And unstoppable on third down and clutch plays. He's a guy that always finds a way to get open and makes it very tough for you on third down because he's going to get the ball. I thought he was with the Bears. I thought he had one more year with the Bears. Is he a free agent now? He's a free agent.
He's a free agent. They're trying to figure out what to do with Amari Cooper too. They're like your former guys who used to bet. Who did the most of this?
Oh, like Keenan, for sure.
Really, more than Julian.
Oh yeah, more than Julian for sure. Keenan definitely with me, probably talked the most out of those guys. But I hope he gets picked up. There's a lot of the Chiefs might be a good pickup for him. But I don't know if he wants to go there. The Chargers could still use him. Right. Okay. They might as well bring the band back. They already got Mike back, so they might as well bring Keenan back. And he's probably already living there. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes.
Are you watching NBA playoffs at all?
Oh, yeah.
You are?
My Lakers got beat, but my Lakers got beat, so we have to move on.
Yeah. Are you not a Nuggets guy?
I like the Nuggets. They're like my third team.
Okay, tell me what you think about it, because all I've heard are the Thunder are the best team in the NBA, but they got upset last night. Who do you think wins it all, Chris?
Well, right now, I think the Celtics win it all. Even though they lost to the Knicks, I don't think they played their best game yesterday. But I think the Nuggets will win this series. They will win this one because OKC just doesn't have enough size for Jokic. I mean, the guy had 40 points and 20 rebounds last night, almost a triple-double. He's unstoppable. Chet and them guys, they got to get in a little bit more weight room, right? They need to eat a little bit more before they deal with Jokic. They might be too small for that guy inside. Okay. And Jamal Murray, right? He doesn't fear those. He doesn't feel Caruso, and he's going to make big plays in clutch times like he always does. So I got the Nuggets in the finals or going to the Western Conference Finals, seeing, this is going to be the Golden State. I got Golden
Really?
State beating Minnesota.
Chris, I understood like 12% of what you were saying. I don't even know some of those players you were talking about. Last one for you. Who is the most clutch NBA player left in the field?
Oh, Steph Curry.
That's it. He's just
Steph Curry, without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Easy. Appreciate you. I need you to just be in media more. Like, can we come on?
I'm about to get active. I just released my kids, so they're done now. So now I can, get back into the media world and, get the sports analyst going. So thanks for welcoming me back.
We need you. You are a breath of fresh air. I hope you have a beautiful off season. Enjoy your family. I don't even know where you're going to put those championships that you just got, but we appreciate you.
We'll see you down the stretch.
I got trophies everywhere. Chris Harris, everybody. We'll be back.